All right, we're still focusing on the 2025 budget, which notably overlooked the culture and creative arts industry. And there are concerns over the government's commitment to supporting this vital sector. Well, joining me in studio, culture journalist Kenneth Awuchidako to explore further the potential implications of the budget on the creative economy. We started that conversation 3 weeks ago, I believe. So what are the concerns?
So the concerns are, many, and it's interesting because it also comes at a time where we have some notable actors in the country, such as Idris, Elba, who is already expressing commitment, has actually made physical moves towards his commitment to actually establish an art studio here in the heart of Accra, which will be very important in terms of telling the stories. So that is where another issue comes up when it comes to infrastructure. But before we go into that, let's listen to what Idris Abba had to tell the president.
But also we're just hoping that this is a conversation. We want to build this with you. I know that you have been very focused and briefed on the creative opportunity and creative sector. And, by way of working with you on Beast of No Nation those many moons ago, we are still very dedicated and focused on bolstering creative sector of Ghana. We had a very fantastic opportunity to locate this land opportunity near Osu to bring what we believe is a very important component of the creative build, is to build the facilities, to have schools, to have a precinct where you can point and say this is where the home of the creative center can be positioned around. And we have done some critical thinking about how we can do that. But it is centered around the schooling and essentially the facilities to create employment, to create a workforce and educate Ghanaian creatives. The castle for us remains at the center point of the focus. So this is the castle area, and this is the 22.
With the old castle, we can't change it too much because it's a UNESCO heritage site. And so we can just, restore it, to what it should be. It's been abandoned for quite a while. There was a credentials hall and all that. And then there's the room where Prof and Rawlings used to stay and all that. It will be interesting for, tourists to be able to see those. Yeah, those places, the Queen's Bedroom and all that. We're also planning a crafts market where people could buy African craft, and then also a gold souk. Ghana was known as a gold coast, and we produce a lot of gold. And we have Ghanaian jewelers and others, and so.
The president there engaging British filmmaker Idris Elba. I'm just wondering whether the 2025 budget can support this move by Idris Elba to create an art studio here in the country. What do you think?
So, and that is why it is important that we were hoping that we saw a lot of contributions when it comes to the creative arts sector in the budget that was read. Unfortunately, that was not the case. But the finance minister also indicated that various sector ministers will come in and, express their own thoughts about what they want to do, how they are planning to expend their monies when it comes to the budget in the year under review. So we are looking forward to that as well. But with that being said, we have also been looking at assessing what the current budget in this state and how, even though it hasn't been mentioned explicitly, can still support the creative industry as a space that is going to be thriving, taking some initiatives like what Idris Elba is talking about into context. So if you look at the fact that the 24-hour economy is something that has been trumpeted a lot, and you see some of the benefits, which include the expanding of the working hours for the entire entertainment space, live music among others. So if something like this isn't, force, considering the fact that this issue is also at hand of the building of a film studio, you know how this is going to help create more jobs and also improve the livelihoods of people who are around the creative art ecosystem. Also, the issue about the increasing of demand for creative content, performance, and cultural showcases. The president was talking about the fact that the Osu Castle was going to be very pivotal in all of these things. And he was also very instructive that some of the heritage around those edifices have to be preserved as well. So these are some of the things that would also be important. You look at the security concerns. Exactly. Some of these initiatives do not come with just the benefit, but also concerns for other areas like security. Because if you are having some of these things happening in the night, of course, there would have to be arrangements for some of the mishaps that could take place as well. So we can move on to the next slide as well to talk about some of the other areas of the budget that could support the creative space as well. There is the need for improved transport and infrastructure to support the extended operations.
And I guess that's where the other
economy.
sectors also tie into the creative economy, right?
Exactly, because it's a very large ecosystem. So the creative sector is just one part that brings together other areas in harmony as well. So the abolition of the e-levy,
story this week.
It is something that will also impact the entertainment space and the cultural area heavily, because
Wait
if you look
to
at
see how that would boost ticket sales. I'm wondering.
Exactly, it will, because it was a concern, because after the e-levy was implemented, there were issues where people would go online to purchase their tickets for various events, and they would have extra fees slapped on them, which did not used to be the case. So it was a concern. It was actually reducing the ability of people to also purchase some of these tickets to see their favorite concerts and events. So that is also something that is going to help that as well. Abolition of the betting tax. It is a winding one for this one specifically, because people who are into this industry and do that. I mean, some of the sector players were complaining about the fact that the withholding tax that had been placed, that 10%, was also affecting or reducing the number of people that were going into the industry as well, which is a moral conversation elsewhere. But when it comes to the business side of things, it was also affecting them, which meant that a lot of these companies were not able to sponsor bigger events that they would want to, because they had to, battle or contend with some of these tax issues. And so that was another issue.
You have got just 15 seconds.
Transportation in the entertainment space is also a big deal. So if you look at the fact that the VAT on motor vehicle insurance is also looking at being abolished, we know the bill has been passed, awaiting the president's approval as well. So that is also going to help reduce the operational cost for filmmakers like Idris Elba when it comes to their plan to establish a film studio in the next 5 years.
Well, great stuff. Thank you so much, Kenneth Auchodako. He is our culture journalist here at myjournalline.com. That's our program. Thanks for watching, everyone. We've got our eyes on Parliament, also on the Bank of Ghana, as we anticipate the announcement of a policy rate. We'll update you as and when that announcement is made. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your very long weekend. We'll catch up sometime later.
Back in 2021, when Opel presented the new Mokka, everyone was pleasantly surprised. It was the first car to feature the new Opel look and the visor that should then become the go-to look for every model that followed. And now the Mokka has gotten an update for its newest model year, and we'll check it out right now. Welcome to Rev. Just as almost every other Opel model nowadays, the Mokka is available as a purely combustion engine car, as a mild hybrid, and also as a purely electric version. We're testing the battery electric version right now, and it has gotten more power than the predecessor, 156 horsepower, 115 kilowatts, and a WLTP range of just over 400 kilometers, which is very useful for everyday driving, especially if you drive in the city, because then you can reach way more than 400 kilometers. And since this is a city SUV, you will be able to achieve that. When it comes to drive specs, the Mokka Electric is not exactly sporty. It takes 9 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, and the top speed is kept at 150 kilometers an hour. But as I mentioned, since this is a car for the city, that should not be a problem, but you have to bear that in mind if you plan to drive on the highway, because then you should not spend too much time on the left lane, especially on Germany's Autobahn. The general driving impression in the new Mokka is okay. It is clear a car that is at home in the compact SUV segment and at a quite reasonable price. Will not have the best insulation. You can hear the road, you can hear the wind, but it's still at a level I would say is okay for everyday use. A very cool feature the new Mokka has, and that is also available for other new Opel models, is the integration of ChatGPT. So you can